What's good, y'all? I'm in here with my boy Marv, back with another episode of Yotta Talk, mixed by Marv in his studio.
Man, what up, y'all? How you doing?
This is a track mixed by him.
The time is here and now. Can you come around? Baby,
That thing vibey.
Yeah, that shit crazy.
these are sacred grounds. Let me hold you down. It's been a long day. With me you say I'll give you your grace, and you have your way. We'll meet in my place. I'll be there by 8, and I'll make you play for you. Come let me pray for you.
Boys just sitting right in the pocket, bro.
Man,
I can feel the roof is coming down.
crazy hearing it on the headphones.
Can't let the neighbors hear our sounds.
He used to the big boy speakers.
Yeah.
Do me right. I just lose my breath, I lose my mind. I just lose my breath, I lose my mind. Hold me in your arms.
Yo, what's good? Like I said, I'm in here with my boy Mixed by Marv. That's where you can go follow him at. My boy's been working
Man.
crazy, doing crazy stuff, bro. How you feeling?
Man, love. I've been feeling good, bro. I'm feeling good, happy to be here, happy to be a part of the movement, happy to be here.
For sure. We're blessed to have you here, bro. We're blessed to be actually at your own studio, bro.
Man, love. Yeah, come a long way. That's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Spot, huh?
Yeah, no, bro. I'm excited to just hear about how you got here, because we actually met a couple years ago.
Yeah, we did. Yes, we did.
And I've been seeing the growth, bro. And I'm just excited to hear. So first, bro, tell the people, where are you from? Where did all of this, maybe not the music stuff, but just in general, where did Marvin start out?
Yeah, for sure. So, I'm born and raised out here, Southern California. I was born and raised in Glendale, kind of grew up around the Eagle Rock area, a little bit of Echo Park area. So I was raised around that area, and I was just like, I was always into music. I was always into different sounds and everything. Even as a kid, I would make like songs up in my head and stuff. So I knew I was a creative person at a young age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And honestly, like, music took me to different routes as far as building relationships with different people. Some of my good friends actually, like, I used to listen to a lot of radio music, so a lot of pop music, a lot of reggaeton. Like, I'm Hispanic, so I was listening to a lot of like Spanish music. Yeah, reggaeton, a lot of bachata at the time, and like one of the homies, he put me on to like rap and hip hop. He showed me like some Lupe Fiasco, showed me some NWA, like some old school shit, and I was like, damn, like I like the stories that they're telling. It's almost like the Spanish music. It's almost like some of the pop music, but the pop music is more like you feel like you're able to connect to a wider audience and stuff. So I was able to feel out the music a little bit more. But some of the Spanish music, like, they be talking about struggling and like, the grind for us brown people in a sense. But like when I would listen to like Lupe Fiasco and like certain like just rappers, even Common and stuff, they would just talk about some crazy shit, and I'm like, damn, like every culture has their own thing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
sure,
Every
for sure.
culture has their own thing, and they express it through this thing called music. So for me, that shit it's dope to be able to connect different worlds, but like be in symbiosis, be connected in the same spectrum. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, bro, that's kind of like how I kind of went into the music thing. A bunch of my friends wanted to rap. I wanted to rap low key.
Oh, you were rapping?
Yeah, I wanted to rap.
Marv had bars back then.
Man, so the thing about me is like I was more of like when Drake was coming out and he was soft, like I liked his music. And the reason why is because he
shoot.
talked about the girls and shit like that. So like I liked that style of music, and all my homies were bar for bar rappers, like battle rapping, like I'm like, assassinating, killing, like just going kind of crazy. And for me, I'm like I don't know, I'm just talking about like just relationship shit. And like I felt like I had a specific crowd or a specific audience that I was trying to appeal to.
Yeah.
And you know, I felt like I kept getting out rapped by my homies. Like all my homies were just better rappers than me. And like, you know, I was more into melody. I was more into different aspects of music, but at that time it wasn't being highlighted. Like when I was 15, like it was bars. It was all about how good you can rap, your ability, your penmanship. So for me, I was like thinking of melodies and certain things and how to like flow. Like I really like Biggie Smalls, how he like flows on a record and like how he can like manipulate his words in a sense. And so I was into that type of stuff. But I think my thing was I was super into flow, and I practiced so many different flows and so many different cadences that my friends would actually get mad because on record I would sound more in tune with the record than them, but they had harder bars than me. You get what I'm saying? So it just, you know, it's a gift and a curse. But I
had to write for you. They should have wrote for you.
Basically, it would have been kind of crazy if they did, honestly. And at the time, I guess it was like, you know, pride and everything. Who, you know, other people writing your own shit and stuff. But I was always known for having clean vocals. Like I was always known for making, like my songs might not have been the best, but they always sounded better than everybody else's. And people were like, man, let me get some studio time with you and let me do that. So that was like my neighborhood thing. That's like what I did to make money. And
so you were mixing you and your friends' songs?
Yeah, me and my friends' songs, people around the neighborhood, different schools and stuff, from the same school district and stuff, and built a little bit of a reputation doing that. I remember I would like charge people per song as opposed to like studio hourly or anything like that. And it was just because I had so much fun doing this shit that like I was like, damn, like I'm down to get paid like $50 to make a record. Like, and if the record took 2 days, like, bro, we're kicking it for 2 days. Like, we're getting food, we're getting chips. We're like, I don't know, just vibing, just kicking it. You know what I'm saying?
It's like a whole new experience for you at that point.
Exactly. And like, I was able to connect with different type of people, like just from different backgrounds, different, you know, ethnicities as well. So I don't know, just that's kind of how I got into it. I was really good at making people sound better than what they did. And, through that, I just started developing more as an engineer and a producer. I feel like not a producer in the sense of a beat maker, but a producer in the sense of like helping an artist develop themselves, helping artists figure out their cadence, help them figure out their flows. I would push all my homies. I would always be like, nah, the way you rap right here is like, that's your key point. So you need to keep doing that. If you do that, like you'll attract more people. If you do this, like, this is not maybe your strongest suit, so maybe we can get somebody to do this. Like, I would always think like that. Like,
you always had an ear for that.
Yeah, exactly. And like, my homies would say, oh, Marv's just nagging, but like, I was always thinking of how to improve the record. And slowly but surely, as I got into the industry, I realized that that's a producer. That's like somebody that's really like listening to the music from a non-biased perspective, but just trying to improve the art, not just sees the art for what it is and tries to make it better. And if it's already perfect, then what little details can we add, or what little details can we do? And if the record is perfect, then what can we do to market? You know what I mean? Like, what can we do? And that's like, I guess, executive producer. You know what I'm saying?
But you were thinking like that back then.
Yeah, bro. I was thinking like that back then. I was definitely, I felt like I've always had an entrepreneurial mindset. So I've always been trying to connect with people with music, but I was always like, how can we make money off of this shit? Like, there's a way to do it, but I don't know how. Like, I'm not educated in it, but there's got to be a way to do it. But good music, you got to make good music first. Let's try to make good music. And that was like my whole thing. And yeah, dude, just fucking did all of that when I was young. That's how I got into it, really.
Okay. So let's say that was probably about high school, right?
Yeah, I want to say high school. Yep. High school, middle school, high school.
So when did you start to get into actual studios? Because at this point, they were recording at your house, right?
Yeah, my house, my room, or the garage or something.
So when did it grow to the point to where you're like, okay, now I'm getting asked to go to this studio, that studio? How long did that take, and when was that?
So that, I want to say, okay, so after high school, I went to college for business. I did the whole college route, got my degree. I went to school. I went to my boy from school. He got me a job at a Verizon. So I applied all of my business knowledge at a Verizon. I feel like I applied myself I found a mentor who helped me apply myself and helped me develop my personality. So it all starts from me developing my personality, who I wanted to be, like opening myself up. You know, I like to talk to people. I like to connect. I'm very personable. A lot of people feel like they can just talk to me and shit. And I'm relatable. I'm hella relatable. So I didn't know I was like that until I got into this job and I have to connect with different customers and sell them things. And not only that, like to sell somebody something, like to create an experience, like that's what my mentor used to tell me. Like, we're not just selling shit, bro. We're creating an experience. We want them to come back. We want them to return.
Okay.
So when he told me that, I used to apply that to everything. So I quit my job 2019, May 2019, and I'm a go-getter, bro. Like I just go all out for whatever it is.
So that's
that
pretty
I do.
recent.
Yeah.
May 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, 2023.
Yeah.
Dang, bro.
Yeah,
You've
bro.
been flying.
Man, I just, you know, I
You've
feel
been
like
flying.
I feel like when I apply, when I definitely set my mind to something, I feel like I definitely I take it to an extreme. I'm kind of psycho in the sense that I want to be the best in everything that I do. I take the quote, that commercial of Kobe Bryant and Kanye, where he's like, "Can you be the same beast but a different animal, or a different animal, same beast, or whatever?"
Yeah.
Like, I didn't get that at first, and he's like, "What the fuck does that mean, Kobe Bryant?" Like, but I get it. Like, it's basically like if you're such a beast at doing this one thing, right, and you're known for doing this one thing, can you do something else and still be a monster?
Yeah.
Because in this, you're a monster. Like, you're fucking crazy. But can you do this too and be crazy at it? And I feel like I'm that type of person where I want to do that, but I might be ignorant, or I might not know certain things. So that ignorance sometimes can prevent you from wanting to do what it is that you want to do. And when I quit my job, I saved up a little bag and I was like, you know what, let me just go for it. I had done a lot of marketing previously, and I had gained a little bit of attraction for different reasons, of course, on my Instagram, and I just reached out to a bunch of people on my Instagram. I went through my followers, reached out to a couple people that did music,
Yeah.
and I think I sent out like 100 DMs, like 100 DMs, and I was really discouraged when nobody hit me back. But you know,
Nobody hit back?
nobody hit me back. But these are all like bigger people. Like these are all like A&Rs. I just saw A&R in their bio, and I'm like hitting people up. I don't know what you're doing, what you've accomplished. I'm just ignorantly just hitting you up, trying to provide value. You know,
Sure.
I've always been taught that like if you want to get anywhere, always provide value in any situation, because at the end of the day, like they could care less about you learning or you growing in whatever it is that you want to do. If I can get something out of you and I can grow as well and you can grow, then we
Exactly.
both benefit from this.
Yeah.
But if you're going to grow and I don't grow, what's the point? You get what I'm saying?
Facts. That's a gym y'all gotta pick up on, man. That's a gym y'all gotta pick up on. Basically, to make it real simple, it's gotta be a win-win, bro.
Yeah, it's
It's gotta be a win-win for everybody.
facts. And so I was just hitting people up and telling them, like, you know, I'm a young engineer. I don't have school experience in this field. I know other things. I have value in other ways. I'm willing to fucking pick up whatever. I'm willing to do whatever. Nobody hit me back. And then I think I was running a session in my garage. My mom had let me make my garage into a studio.
Okay.
And so I built a little booth in there. I had a little bathroom and stuff. And I had an artist come in, and the artist, we had just wrapped up the session. It was like midnight. I get on my phone. I refresh my DMs. Just, let me see if anybody hit me back, you know? And I see the boop, and I'm like, what the hell? And I look at it, and it's David Young and Kim. And I'm like, what the fuck? And so when he hit me back, it was kind of like a generic response. It was very like, you know, keep it up or something like that. And I was thinking, like, in my head, like, you got to think fast. Like, he's on the phone. Like,
Yeah.
so
Like, he just hit me, bro. I know he's still looking at his phone.
exactly. So I was like, I forgot what I wrote, but I wrote something, and it said scene. And I was like, oh, you're on the phone right now. Like, you're on the phone. So I got you. Let me try to say something that's going to get your attention. I went to business school, so it's like elevator talk. You got like 10 to 15 seconds to impress somebody or to say something outlandish that's going to get their attention.
Okay.
And
that's game right there. That's game right there.
no, straight up. So I applied that, and I forgot what I said. I said, hey, like, this has always been my dream. I've been doing this since 15. You know, I grew up. I forgot what I said, but like, I said some stuff that like I really put myself out there, and it said seen again. So I'm like, okay, you read it. You're not an asshole. Like, you have to have read it. Like, you know what I mean? Unless you're just like, okay, or something like that. But he didn't respond. And then it said like seen a minute ago or something like that. And then it's like the bubbles where he's typing and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, he's responding to me right now. What the fuck? And he just point blank asked me like, oh, like, how long have you been making music for? This, that, and the third. And we just started chopping it. We got into a conversation. Somehow, through our conversation, I scored an opportunity where he invited me to go to the studio. And he was like, what are you doing on Friday? I was like, ain't shit, bro. I quit my job. Like, it's Friday. I ain't got shit to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just going to smoke my weed and just, you know, maybe host a session.
We ain't got no job.
I ain't got no job. I ain't got shit to do, you know? And so I told him, I was like, I might have a session. I might not. I could cancel the session. I could care less. Like, this is way more important. And he said, nah, get your money. That's one thing I respect about David is, like, he's always about business. It's like, it's never personal if you have to take care of business first. We can always fix the personal after, you know? And he was like, nah, if you have a session, make sure you do your session. Go do that. Do a good job. Hit me after. Come link at the studio. I'm sitting there like, damn, okay, for sure. Like, man, you're a nice guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
real quick, just so that people know, educate them on who David Young and Kim is.
Okay, yeah. That's my fault. I didn't even say none of that. But David Young and Kim, well, actually, hold on. Let me continue the story because I'll educate y'all in the story.
Okay, bet. Okay, bet.
So, David Young and Kim, he's this mixing engineer that I hit up. It says Grammy nominated, multi-platinum. That's what it says on his profile. That's all I know.
Okay.
From an appearance. You get what I'm saying? That's what I see. We're talking, whatever. He says, get your money. And then he's like, hit me up after. That day I said, oh, should I hit you up via DM? Or should I text you? Like, it's like, I felt like I was asking a girl out. Like, it was like weird as fuck. You know what I mean? Like that awkward moment where it's like, can I get your number? Can I not? Like, are you going to give me the number or not?
Yeah.
He sent me his number immediately, and I was like, oh, I'm in. Like, I'm in. When you get the number in the industry, you're in. Like, for sure. Like, you can hit that person up directly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So on Friday, I followed up. I hit him up. I said, hey, my session just canceled, which it was true. They actually wanted to come in. Then they canceled all within an hour of, like, span. And he was like, pull up. He gave me the address. And when I get in the car, and I'm driving over there, driving over to Chalice Recording Studios. So he gave me the address to, I think of it as like the big three. It's like Chalice Recording Studios, Record Plant, and then there's like Paramount, all in Hollywood. Those are like the main studios that a lot of people go to. A lot of big celebrities, a lot of big artists. And he gave me the address to Chalice. So I get in the car, I'm driving over to Chalice. I don't know nothing. All I know is that, you know, David's worked on a lot of different stuff. His biggest record that I saw was, I think it was like Racks in the Middle at the time. So it was like, that was like his.
I ride around in a V12.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Nip, man. R.I.P. Nip.
Yeah, R.I.P. Nip, for real. But that was his biggest record that I saw on his page at the time. And he had did some stuff with Dom Kennedy, did some stuff with Hit Boy. So I was like, like, he's working with some big people right now. And when he invited me to the studio, I was like, I gotta make sure I get there on time, make sure I'm on point, whatever. So I get in the car, I'm driving, and as I'm driving, I'm like about to get on the freeway, and I get the text where it's like, you know how to use Pro Tools, right? And Pro Tools, for those of you that don't know, that are watching, Pro Tools is digital. It's a digital, what is it? Audio workstation.
Audio workstation.
Yeah, digital audio. I didn't go to school for this shit, so sorry. I'm just kidding. But digital audio workstation, and there's different ones: Logic Pro, Pro Tools, Ableton. There's different programs that people use to create music, edit music, record. They're all the same thing. They all function differently, but every program is used differently for different reasons, you know?
Okay.
And so he asked, I was very proficient in Logic, and I had no idea how to use Pro Tools.
Never used it before.
At all. I was scared. I had it though. I had I got it. I never opened it. Nothing.
And you on the way.
I'm on the way to the studio.
Okay.
I don't know how to use none of this shit, bro.
Okay.
I'm fucking freaking out. I
Yeah.
swear to God, I'm freaking out. And he's like, and it's crazy because in our conversation via DMs, he was like, we had talked about that. I had mentioned that I was scared of using Pro Tools. It looked scary, like, to me. And he said, always go in the direction of fear. Like, that was his big thing. He's very philosophical, you know? It's like, go in the direction of fear. Always go in that direction because that's how you grow. And I was like, okay, bet. Like, I'm gonna take that into consideration. But when he invited me to the studio, I'm driving. He's like, you know how to use Pro Tools, right? And I was like, fuck. Like, I'm like, damn, he don't remember that we talked about this. Like,
Yeah.
okay, well, what am I gonna do? You know? So I'm like, well, in my mind, I'm like, I'm driving. Logically, I can't text you right now because I already said I'm on the way.
Yeah.
So I use that as an excuse to not text him right away. And I'm at a red light and I see that shit and I'm like, oh God, no, let's pedal to the metal. So
We getting there, bro.
so I think this is the quickest Hollywood, like from my crib, like my mom's crib to Hollywood. I think it was like the fastest I've ever gone to Hollywood because I was going 60 in like a 25, like I was going crazy, bro. I was gunning it. Like I was really gunning it. And then I remember I get onto Highland. So the studio's located on Highland and Willoughby. I was on Highland and I think Santa Monica. And I'm making the left on Highland. And I finally respond. I said, no, I don't know how to use Pro Tools. I'm very proficient in Logic, but I'm a quick learner. I'm very eager to learn. I got like
let me show up, bro.
like let me
please.
just like yeah, you know. And it says delivered. I'm like looking at the light, sweating. I'm like, come on, I'm down. It's like 0.2 miles from where I'm at. So I'm like, bro, I'm right there. Like
Yeah.
I'm at the finish line. Don't let me don't trip me before the finish line. And so I get to the studio. As soon as I get there, there's like a Starbucks on the corner. Parking is a motherfucker. There's like no parking there. I'm like looking for parking. I'm driving up and down the street looking for parking. He hasn't responded. I find a spot. I bust a bitch. I like skirt. Like I get into the fucking parking spot. He texts me. He says, maybe we should reschedule because it would be kind of pointless if you don't know how to use Pro Tools. Because like I was going to like bring you in to like help me mix or like, you know.
to work on stuff.
To work on stuff. If you don't know how to use Pro Tools, it's kind of like, it's
You
pointless.
can't do anything,
You're just going to sit there. And so I was like, damn, like I had just parked. And so I was like, you know, I was like, I just parked at the Starbucks. When do you think we can like reschedule? Like, my bad. Like, again, I'm a really quick learner, this, that, and the third. And I could tell like he felt bad because he's like, damn, you're outside. I'm like, I'm right outside the Starbucks. And he's like, fuck, okay. Walk a little bit down the street. I'll open the gate. Like, you know, like in his mind, like it's like, fuck, like, you know.
You already here, bro.
You're already
you
here,
done
bro.
did all this.
You did, yeah, you're already here. Like, you showed commitment, so you're here. And so when we walked in, what up, bro? My name's David. I'm like, what up, bro? My name's Marv. Like, I'm like, what the hell is going on?
You're
like,
tripping out.
I'm
You're
tri-
tripping
I'm
out.
shaking, sweating. I just, like,
You were just stressed the whole drive.
bro, it was nuts. I ran, like, all the way to the studio. Like, it was kind of crazy. I had parked a little bit away from where I said I was, and I had to like run all the way over there. It was wild, bro. It was wild.
Making it work though.
You know, sometimes you gotta just make it work. You know, grab life by the horns is what I always say. So, you know, and we go inside, and then I'm like in this private parking lot. I see like a Lambo. I see like a Bentley. I see like Rolls Royce. I see like a bunch of exotic cars in this lot, and I'm like, wow, what the actual fuck is going on?
Yeah. This ain't no regular studio.
Yeah, this ain't like what? Like this ain't no regular studio at all. And so he's like, he leads me inside. So there's like two entrances. There's like the left side as soon as you walk in the gate. There's like the left side and the right side. So we went into the right side. On the right side, they had like plaques all on the walls. They have their front desk right there. And then you're walking down the hall. They have like a big kitchen. They have like a lounge for their A room. He showed me the A room. Big ass console, big room. He showed me the booth. He showed me the booth. The booth has like a crazy couch in it. It's got like it's like a big ass space. It's just like a really big luxurious space. He showed me their B room, big luxurious. He told me He's like, oh, I'm gonna show you the other side. And so then we like walk over to the other side, and then we went into the G room. He showed me the other smaller rooms, but then they don't really use those rooms. Like the bigger artists don't use it. I think like more like the assistants or like if like people are writing, maybe they might use it or something like that.
Okay.
But they usually use the bigger rooms, and then so he took me to the other big room from the left side of the building or the left building, and it was the G room. When we went into the G room, he told me, he's like, oh yeah, Future likes this room when he's in LA. The Weeknd used this room.
You going fast, bro. You said Future.
Yeah.
You said the Weeknd.
Yeah, like I looked at him like, are you fucking serious? And I had just seen the Dirty Sprite 2 plaque outside of that studio. So I was like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, part of that shit was recorded here, or if not all of it. I don't really remember the details, don't quote me, but he said, the album was somewhat done there. And then he pulls me out of the studio. He's like, this is Hit's room. And I was like, wait, what? And he was like, oh yeah, Hit Boy. Then we're walking down this other hall, and I call it the Hall of Hit because at some point it's not Chalice. It doesn't, like, usually the plaques say presented to Chalice Recording Studios. It doesn't say that anymore at some point. It just starts to say presented to Chauncey Hollis, like Hit Boy.
Yeah.
And it's like Chauncey Hollis.
That's crazy.
And like, it's just like all, and I'm talking like Justin Bieber plaque, Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City plaque. I'm talking Selena Gomez, like Rihanna. Like,
you just walking by all that.
All of it, bro. Freaking out.
Yeah.
Freaking the fuck out. Then he takes me into the G room, and we start talking a little bit. I noticed he had a 49er hat, and I was like, "Are you a Niner fan?" And at the time, like us Niners fan, I say us because I'm a Niner fan. We was getting shitted on heavy because like we always fuck up right before the finish line. You know what I'm saying? We always fuck up right before the finish line. It always happens, and it's getting annoying now. But at the time, people used to just really clown on us for it. You know what I mean? Like if you're a fan of the 49ers, like, bro, like you guys are just like the worst, like dropping the ball at the end, like come on, like, whatever. And he was like, yeah, why? Like ready to like, what's up? And I pulled out my keys and I was like, you're not gonna believe this. And then he's like, that's Niner Red. I was like, bro. And he's like, what? Are you a Laker fan? I was like, I'm a Laker fan. Are you a Dodger fan? I was like, I don't really watch baseball like that, but I'm LA, so
I can be.
I'm not gonna be an Angels fan. Like, I'm gonna be a Dodger fan, you know. And so he's like, man, you dope, like, whatever. So we just started talking. We chopped it up, and through just talking to him, I used a little bit of my business background to kind of like ease into a certain conversation where I was like, to be honest, I think you should be bigger than what you are right now. Like commercially, like not commercially, more like marketing, advertising. Like people are looking at Jason Joshua, Alex Toomey. At the time, Baines wasn't named a lot. I feel like he was, but it was like on and off. You know what I'm saying? But mixing engineer wise, like it was all Jason Joshua. It was like Alex Toomey. It was like certain people. You know what I mean? And I was like, you've done some crazy shit, David. Like you should be up there. You know, but I don't think I've heard your name like be repped in the midst of things. And I was like, I think we need, that's bullshit. We need to like fix that. And I think if we attack your social media a certain way and we do this and we do this, we could even create, at the time I told him we can create a YouTube channel even, because I was like, I'm always looking for tutorials on how to do things. But the problem with YouTube tutorials, this is what I told him. I said, the problem with YouTube tutorials is a lot of the people at the time that were doing the YouTube tutorials, they're working on music from their local artist or like their best friend's music. And whenever they're like showing you what to do, oh yeah, you want your compression to be like this, you want your EQ to be like this. It's like they play like 10 seconds of the song or they play a snippet of the song, but then they're like, okay, so that's that. And like they brush off the song, and it's like, why are you brushing off the song, bro? Like, don't brush off the song. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, give us the game. Like, show us why you're doing what you're doing. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes they do that, but at the time, it wasn't as highlighted as much of the song. It was more so the tools that were being highlighted. And, like, sometimes you got to be interested in the song to even want to, like, be interested in the topic.
Care about how they did that,
Yeah, like, to be interested in the topic or anything. And, exactly, care about how they did that delay. If it's, like, a song that I know of, yeah, I want to know how they did that.
Exactly.
Like, when you have a reputation, yeah, I want to know how you did that in that other song. But until you have a reputation, it's kind of like, I'm trying to look for better resources, and the resources that I had weren't the best. And I didn't want to go to school for this because I already paid whole tuition so to get a business degree. So it's like, wait, what? Like, you know what I mean? So I told him, I was like, well, what if you created a YouTube channel and you started doing mix tutorials, or you started gaming people, and like, you know, you can use some of the songs from the artists that you're already currently working on, and if with their permission, of course, but that would target a whole nother audience. That would make you stand out in a niche market. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And he was very impressed by how I just sold him on all of these ideas. And it's one thing when you say all of these ideas, but it's another when you do them, right? And the one thing about David that I really, really admire is that, like, if you give him an idea and it's a good idea, he's going to run and go do it. It don't matter if you don't know how to do it. He don't let ignorance get in the way of shit. He just goes and does it.
Yeah.
And when I was talking to him, I could see that he was like, okay, bet, like, this kid has some good ideas. And then I remember he went to go get his wife came later that day to the studio. Shout out to Connie, by the way. That's my big sis right there. But she was coming to the studio, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna go get her real quick. We're supposed to go to dinner. I said, no problem. And when we would, by the way, I didn't even mention the song we was working on. So I went from I was working at a Verizon. I was selling phones, and now I'm in the studio with this dude, right? Console board, all that kind of stuff. Before we even got into all this conversation and shit, he presses play, and it's fucking, bitch, what's my favorite word? Bitch, why you gotta say it like that? Bitch, what's my favorite word? Bitch, why you gotta say it like, and then the beat drops and it's a Kamaya song. And I'm sitting here like, you got two short vocals, you got Kamaya song, she's, you know, Bay Area, she's popping ass artist, and you got this dope ass sample that you're mixing in this big ass studio with a big ass console board that I've only really seen in like the NWA movie, or like
documentary or something,
or documentaries, or like the Biggie Smalls movie when they show like the console board. You know what I mean? Like those are the only. That's like when they glamorized it. That's like the only time I've ever seen this in real life, or like in real life. It's through a screen, but this is all happening in real life. Like he played the song, and then we're having these conversations. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to mention how epic that it was too. He you know, I ended up sending a picture to my mom. She was like, "What the fuck? Where the fuck are you?" Like, what the hell's going on? I was like, I'm gonna explain to you later. Like,
I'm busy.
Life's about to go crazy right now. Like, what the hell? She was like, it was just a shocker because I was selling phones like a month ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like, literally.
Quit your job.
Yeah, quit my job. May 2, 3, 4 weeks. Right, I think it was like 2 weeks, 3 weeks later. I'm in the studio and stuff. But anywho, so shout out to Connie. Back to Connie. He brings Connie into the studio, his wife, and the walk between the parking lot and in the studio is like 45 to a minute.
Okay.
Like 45 seconds to a minute. She comes into the studio. I'm sitting there. I'm nervous, whatever. She walks in. She's like, hey, how are you? Like, I've already heard so much about you. And da-da-da. And I'm like, bro, what?
You heard about me?
You heard about me already? Like that means that he left the studio excited about what we talked about. It means that I left an impact. It means that I provided value. I did all the right things in my mind to accommodate the situation, to make up for the lack of not knowing Pro Tools, the small, like, you know, the biggest, but the smallest little detail of something that's bigger. Because at the end of the day, he valued what I brought to the relationship.
Exactly.
He was able to win, and I'm able to win. I can learn from somebody, and he can prove a proof of concept where I can teach somebody this stuff. I'm so good at this that I can teach somebody. But not only that, he's going to use his expertise to help me elevate my status, which is going to help my business. It's going to help my bag. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so this is a situation where, like I said earlier, we can both win. Yeah. You know, and so, yeah, you know, we left the studio. He ended up introducing me to like Hit Boy and like J305 and like some other people and stuff. And I was just like, what the hell? He said, what's up to Dom Kennedy? And I started there. So like, that's kind of like my introduction to getting into the big studios. Big ass story, but that's how I kind of got into that studio. And yeah, I have a lot of crazy memories in that studio, a lot of crazy times, sessions and everything. And yeah, after that day, my life changed. For sure, my life changed. And I haven't gone back. It's been 4 years later. I haven't gone back. I haven't looked back.
Yeah, you've been speed racing, bro. So let's talk about how you said, after working with David and everything he taught you and the opportunities that you got with him, he helped you elevate in general, right?
Yep.
So let's talk about that. Give them a little bit about who you were able to work with through your relationship with David, and then who you began to work with shortly after.
Okay, bet. So through David, I was able to meet a lot of different people, but I did have the opportunity to get a couple of recording credits. I had one with Benny the Butcher. I got to meet bro. I was in the session with him. That day, actually, I was supposed to go into the studio to do like some assistant mix work. I was supposed to print stems or something.
Okay.
And he was like, damn, we double booked. Jeremiah and Kaylani are in the room, but Benny the Butcher and Westside Gun are on their way. Can you record them in the other room? And I'm like, fuck.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, you think I can? Like, holy shit. And he's like, bro, I wouldn't put you in no situation I don't think you can handle. I think you got it. And I'm like, all right, bet. And he's like, he's like, Benny is like too talented for you to like fuck up. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's like one of those, you just got to throw the ball in the air and they'll catch it.
Like, bro, just press the button. You're going to be all right.
You'll be all right. I swear, just make sure you don't peak. If you peaks, like, that's rookie mistake. You know what I mean? And so I was like, all right, bet. So I got to work with him, got to work with Maxo Cream. He actually lobbed me a situation with the studio. So during COVID, me and him were supposed to go crazy because now that I was able to prove, as I climbed up the ranks, I was able to prove that I could hold my own in the recording ability, and I was able to do some of the assistant mix work. Yeah. So we were supposed to go crazy and help like this factory that he's got going on. Like the producers bringing in the artists, we can record. He's recording sometimes, or I'm recording sometimes, but I could also alleviate the recording. He could be mixing. Yep. I can assist mix. Like, it's just now it's a whole machine. COVID hit. We had to kind of go like a little bit separate ways just because, not everybody was like with each other. It's like distance.
Yeah, it got crazy.
Yeah, it got kind of crazy and stuff. And I remember the studio was still getting booked, and he lobbed me a position with the studio manager. She asked if I could, if she was like, can your assistant run a session? He's like, hell yeah. Like I trained him. Like he could do anything. Like I got you. And I started working through there. And, my first session was like with Lil TJ. I was nervous as hell. No show. Don't get excited. No show.
No show?
No show.
Nervous for no reason.
No reason at all. Second session was with PNB Rock. No show again. I don't get to get no fucking feet wet yet. Third session comes around. I think it was my third or fourth, and it was Lil Baby on the ticket. And I'm sitting here like, wait, what?
Yeah, hold on, bro.
Is he really? Wait, yes, I want to do the session. Like,
yeah, I'm there.
You know what I mean? So
please don't be a no-show this time.
Please
don't.
Yeah. No, definitely no. I got my.
I'll take the other two if you come.
Yeah. No, yeah, that session, I earned my plaque. That session we did the Money Man 24 remix. That was when
you did the verse on there?
Yeah.
See, I seen the plaque on IG.
Yeah.
But you gotta talk to the people about that, bro. How was that session?
Man, the session was crazy. The session was nuts. He didn't show up until like super late at night. I want to say like 3 a.m, and I was at the studio. I want to say since like 5, 6, or 7 p.m. So
waiting, just like
I was just waiting. 5, 6, 7 p.m. I was waiting, and he shows up around like 3 a.m.
So almost a no-show.
Almost a no-show. Goes into the A room. I'm the engineer for the B room. He's in the A room. They're rocking out in the A room. I hear the music. I'm like, damn. Like I'm gonna get no action tonight. This sucks.
Yeah.
And I'm in the B room, and then I'm like watching like some Call of Duty videos or something, and then the assistant, my assistant engineer, he walks in and he's like, "Oh snap, fuck, Marv, you're still here." Like, because at this point it's like I want to say like 5, 6 in the morning, and he's like,
dang.
Yeah, and
but you were like, bro, I'm not leaving.
Yeah. No, well, I was just honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I was really tired. I was like, if I'm not gonna get used at this point, can I just go home? I was like, I was mad discouraged. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Like 3 sessions, 4 sessions, no shows and stuff, and like. I was
hear them rocking out in the next room.
Yeah. I was in my feels about it for sure. And then he's like, let me just go see if they need you, you got to stay here the whole time, but like, let me see what's up. And I said, no, it's all good. I'll stay. I just want to know if I'm going to be used or anything. Like, I'm kind of just sitting here watching Call of Duty videos in this big ass studio, you know? And so he's like, no, I got you. So he goes over to the room. Little baby head was sleeping. He wakes up. He's like, hey, little baby, did you have a whole nother studio? Did you want to, like, with a whole nother engineer, did you want to use him? He's like, you know, he's been here since like yesterday, pretty much. Like, you know, it's been 12 hours and stuff. Did you still want to use the studio? And then he just kind of like yawned and was like, tell him baby on the way. Walks out the studio, runs down the hall, runs into my room. I'm sitting there like this. He's like, Marv. I'm like, what the hell? He's like, yo, he's coming in. I'm like, oh shit. Who? He's like, the man himself. Like,
baby on the way.
Baby on the way. He literally said verbatim, baby on the way. And I'm like, okay, fuck. So he gets into the session. He's rolling up a blunt. It's kind of cold in there. I turn off the AC. I'm like, so what we working on, you know? And he airdrops me the session. And I had just heard Money Man a week prior to that session, which is ironic because when I played that song, that's the song that I got introduced to Money Man to. Like,
that's wild.
Like, my boy played that song 24 because his album had just dropped. So he played the song 24, and that was his, like, he's like, oh yeah, have you heard this guy? He's like, this guy's hard. His name's Money Man. And like, played 24, and that was like my introduction. And then I'm like, didn't this song already come out? I look back at him, I'm like, didn't this song already come out? And he was like, yeah, but they want me to get on the remix.
Okay.
And I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, just make a verse slot, whatever. And we start having this whole conversation. We had a really, really crazy and intricate conversation. I ended up calling him the modern day Lil Wayne. And
that's fair though, bro.
yeah, no.
That's a very fair comparison.
No, for sure. I think at that time I was telling him, I was like, look, you haven't really dropped your album outside of like a collabo album or whatever. You haven't really dropped your album. And right now you're going crazy with features. Like, people are charting and people are selling records because of you. Like, people are getting discovered because of your verse.
Exactly.
So only other person I can know that does, well, other than Drake's an anomaly, but only other person I know that can do that frequently was Lil Wayne at the time. Lil Wayne,
hopping on everybody's song.
Yeah, he hopped on everybody's song before the Carter 3 drop. And then I told him that. I was like, and if you know history, when he dropped Carter 3, he sold 1 million in a week. He went platinum in a week. So I'm like, who's to say you can't do the same? Like, you're about to go crazy. You're this generation's Lil Wayne. And he was like very impressed by how I broke everything down, and we talked about fan bases and expanding and like all kinds of stuff. And I was very shocked to see that he didn't think that he was that big. And when I watched his documentary later in life, in time, like his documentary that's like I think on Hulu or something, or they talk about that. They say, yeah, he didn't know how big he was. He didn't realize how much power he had. He didn't realize how famous he was or how gifted he was. Like, and I saw that firsthand. And it's funny because later in time, like, he called himself the modern day Lil Wayne. Like, if you look it up, like I think he did an interview and everybody was highlighting it. Like, everybody was highlighting that specific. Oh, he compares himself to Lil Wayne. Little do they know that came from the engineer in California. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he made the comparison. He ended up using that because I think he was just really impressed by it. And he dropped his album. The shit went crazy. I told him it was gonna go crazy. And then he came back to Chalice a couple of times. And when I went into the studio, I got booked for the sessions because we had a good time.
Yeah.
And those times he would talk about certain things that you would normally only talk about, I feel like, in front of trusted people.
Like with your homies.
Yeah, or like just trusted executives, trusted like business people. Like, when you're talking about your business, especially in your deals, certain things going on, you want certain people in the room and you don't want certain people in the room.
Especially at his level.
Exactly. And he's talking about all his stuff and I'm in the room, and Lil Baby's an energy person. I'm big on energy too. And he's the type of person where if like their energy's off, like he won't even talk. He won't say nothing. He just will ignore the whole conversation. And then when you leave, he's like, he'll talk again. And he'll be like, yeah, I just wasn't fucking with the vibe. And
shout out Lil Baby, that's real.
No, straight up. And he was talking and talking and talking. And I remember one time he mentioned Russ. No, like a lot of people, like, for whatever reason, don't acknowledge his business mindset. But he mentioned Russ, and he's like, Russ makes millions a month on music, just off of music. He makes millions, like not just like
killing the game,
like millions, like off of streams, like not show. He don't do shows. He don't he does touring, like big shows, but like he don't do like club events. Like he's not doing things like that. You know what I mean? And I remember Turbo, Run That Back Turbo was in the room. He's like, who? Like, who are you talking about? And then like other people were like, who? Everybody was like, who? When he mentioned Russ.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, Russ. He's he's from Atlanta. He's independent. Long hair. Like he makes. I mentioned like certain things.
Songs.
Yeah. I mentioned certain things that I knew about Russ, and then I was like, and he's actually. I talked about it in front of everybody. I was like, he's actually smart because he partnered with Columbia, and like he finessed his whole situation over there because he already had an out. But like I did a lot of research on Russ's business tactics because I'm a business person. Like I like chess moves like that.
I studied Russ too, and he's crazy with it, bro. He changed the game.
Nah, for sure. Independently, for sure.
Yeah.
And I was talking about it, and Lil Baby was like, exactly what he said, and like I'm like, damn, like I'm in front of everybody. Like this is Gunna's in the room, Turbo's in the room. There's like a lot of other people in the room, and I'm like accepted here. Like it's cool. Like it's decent. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, it was an interesting experience to be in those fields and stuff. And that was like, some of the artists that I worked with at the studio. There's a lot more. Danny Lay, like there's a lot more. But after that, I started transitioning. I wanted to work with more people from my backyard, from LA. And so I started just moving towards that realm, and then like getting known from the artists out here. I think like I was more of an engineer, like behind closed doors.
Yeah.
In big rooms, and I would post about it every now and then. Like when I got my content, and stuff. But I feel like a lot of people didn't realize like these big sessions were really big sessions that I was in. I remember posting content when I was with like K-Camp, with like Pyrex Whippa, 808 Mafia, Babyface Ray, Kalen For Real, Blue Bucks. Like I was posting content about like these big sessions that I was in, and
Kaz.
all of that, man.
Shout out Dreamville.
Shout out Dreamville. And people weren't acknowledging it, so I was like, you know what? I gotta shift focus. I feel like I'm more popping with out-of-towners than I am with people in my own backyard. So, and I noticed all the engineers that were in my backyard, there were some that were making noise, and then there was a lot that were like just, I don't know, I feel like the engineering game at the time, like it was lacking. It wasn't the best. Like LA music didn't sound the best.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, I feel that, bro.
And like I'm coming from, like, the way I look at it is like I got raised in Mount Olympus. I'm a mortal that got raised by the gods. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm looking at it. Cause
For
like,
sure, bro.
Who's gonna be in these? Who's gonna go from selling cell phones to be in this situation?
Working with legends,
like big people, seeing Nas walk down the hallway. Like, what the actual fuck? Like, so I'm raised by gods in this shit, right? And I'm coming down to the streets. I'm coming down to Cali, and I'm like, I'm recording some of these, or LA, and I'm recording some of these artists, and like, hey, bro, like, I like the way I'm sounding, bro. Like, hey, bro, like, let me get your gram. Like, hey, bro, like, what's your name? Like, what's your, and like, now it's starting to, like, the reputation is starting to grow. Like, people are starting to recognize the quality and stuff. And now people are like, at the time I was like, oh, now people are starting to acknowledge it and stuff. And I feel like I brought a certain high level of quality down to everybody. To everybody.
Made it accessible.
And I made it accessible. And then along the journey, people, my peers that I saw as like better than me or at the same level, now some of them are like asking me for work or asking for some advice on certain things, or asking like, hey, can you listen to my mixes? Like, I want your opinion and stuff. And for me, it's just dope to see like a transformation in the sense that like, damn, like my mentor taught me. My mentor was at a level and he was able to teach me what he taught me and elevate my status. And the fact that like other people want me to do that for them.
Yeah.
It's like a full circle moment. And there's other engineers that are my peers as well that like that are doing fantastic, you know, and they give back too. But like for me, that's like a crazy, and I don't know if they felt this, but like for me, like I'm just like, damn, that's dope. Like to see at least some of my peers, like they want to work with me in a different fashion. Like they're like, hey, can you lob me some sessions, or like if you need any mix work done, like I'll prep your stuff. I want to just go into the rooms with you. Like, can I learn from you? Like, and for me, I'm like, damn, bro, like I'm just me. I didn't even go to school for none of this, so I feel like an underdog every time.
Yeah.
Every time I feel like an underdog, but I must be doing something right if if everybody's, you know, wanting to be around me and shit.
Nah, for sure,
You know?
bro. I mean, your work again. You came from working with. I mean, I don't think he mentioned it, but bro got Nas credits.
Yeah.
He said he saw him walking by the room, but he ain't mentioned the credits. Bro got the credits on the album.
Man, shout out to the big homie for sure.
So, bro, let's start going to where you're at right now. Right.
Right.
So so far your journey's been crazy because you didn't go to school for this.
Yeah, no.
You quit your job on a limb.
On a limb, bro.
You're sending hundreds of DMs. A random, not random because you DM'd them, but you didn't know who they were. You just saw something in their bio, hit you back up.
Yeah.
Shout out to David. He works with Nip, Roddy, Nas at the time. You didn't know too much of that, but you get into the room.
Mm-hmm.
He elevates you. You do that for a couple years. COVID comes, you split up. You start doing your own thing. Now you're working with big artists on your own because you're with another studio. And then you get into opening up this space.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So before we get there, I have to say, I appreciate you sharing all that, bro, because those are stories that we would never hear.
Man, love, bro, love.
And as well, bro, when you first were taking a step like, hey, I want to open up my own space.
Yeah.
What inspired it? Because most people, I mean, you're working in the biggest studios. I know you just said you wanted to bring, you know what I'm saying, the quality to the streets.
Yeah, facts.
But in general, you know, that comes with a lot more responsibility. I mean, maintenance of the place. You got to buy the couches. You know what I'm saying?
All kinds of overhead.
Way more responsibility, actually running a business.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what was that transition like, and what inspired you to be like, you know, I do want to take on more responsibility and have my own studio?
So I feel like when I started, you know, doing more sessions with artists that were from out here, I feel like I recorded at like every studio possible, like every studio I was in. And it wasn't just with, you know, the artists from LA. Like I was still tapped in with people from 808 Mafia. I was still tapped in with Madden Co., which is Billy and Joel Madden's management company. And they have their own roster of artists. And like, I'm tapped in with like a lot of different genres, not just rap. And like sometimes even a different style of rap, you know, like 808 Mafia is like a darker version. It's like a darker trap rap, you know, and like
sure.
LA is more groovy. It's West Coast. It's different. So I was still working in different studios with them as well. So like I felt like I went to all the big studios down to the like, you know, independent mom and pop shops, you would say, type of studio, to like even in a bedroom. And at some point I just realized, like, I remember getting booked at another studio, and they were trying, like, the person that was booking me was trying to negotiate my rate. And at the time, people had just always said yes to my rate. But like when you negotiated the rate with me, I was like, huh. And the reason why was because they said, like, bro, like, bear with me, bro. I got to pay for the studio. I just booked the studio. I got to pay for you. And then I got to pay for this and this and this. And it was just kind of like, I was like, dang, you should have told me. I would have found you a better spot.
Yeah, I would have.
I would have found you a better spot for a cheaper rate. And like, because you made the mistake, now I got to compromise like my pay. And I don't want to compromise my pay because everybody's cool with it. You was cool with it.
I work for this.
Like, and now all of a sudden it's not cool. And I have a problem with that. And it bugged me. It really bugged me. And like, when I was coming up, before I got the David Kim and before I got to like any of that stuff, like, I remember working with certain artists for like the 2-3 weeks that I was working with. And I remember like sometimes they would be like, oh, I'm going to go to so-and-so studio. I'm going to go to so-and-so studio. Like, I'm going to go to Post Malone studio. Or I'm going to go to so-and-so's engineer studio. And I'd be like, what makes their studio different than my studio? Like, I get it, maybe bigger speakers, bigger equipment. Now I get it.
Yeah, for sure.
Now I get it, but at the time I didn't get it. I was like,
Because you weren't there yet.
yeah, and I was like, I'm still providing you the best quality. Like, you put my rough mixes against a rough mix that came out of a big studio, and I'm whooping the engineer.
Yeah.
And I'm in a fucking 2x4 room. Like,
Yeah.
what the actual fuck? You know what I'm saying? And you're spending hundreds of dollars on a space that they can't even give you what I'm giving you in my backyard.
Yeah, it just looks cool.
You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? So once I put that into perspective, I was like, man, like, let me just find my own space. Let me just not undercut anything. Now you don't have a choice but to pay me what I'm asking for because I provided the location and I'm providing the service that you're asking for.
Yeah.
So now I'm just the boss.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I went from like everybody trying to hire me to I want to own my own thing. And I wanted to partner with certain people when I first got this studio, but at the time, even getting into the studio game, there's bullies. You know, there's people that say like, you know, what can you provide?
Yeah.
What can you do? What can you do? And I'm like, well, I got a bag, I got equipment, I got knowledge. Nah, well, I got that too. But what you do have is your engineering. So let me hire. It's like another way of hiring me or recruiting me. And I'm
Exactly.
like, no, like
I'm trying to be a poverty team. I'm trying to have my own thing.
exactly. So at some point, my mom was like, you know, just do your own thing. You got enough bread to do it. Just do it. Just take the leap. If you feel like the back, you know, the garage isn't big enough anymore. And I'm like, respectfully, Mom, I'm not bringing K-Camp to my backyard.
Yeah.
And like they have to go outside to smoke, and then they see you washing dishes, and it's like weird.
It just is crazy.
It's weird. Like it's weird as fuck. So I was like, I need to elevate. I need to get my own space. I came across this space, and the rest is history. I made this my home, and now it allows what I really wanted to do. It allows me to do what I did when I was a kid, which was let's bring somebody in to do this. Let's do this. Let's do this to improve records, to really produce and create records. Now I'm not just engineering anymore because now people are booking me almost like for consultation services as well. They'll book a 4-hour block, and an hour and a half, we're talking about their rollout. And we're talking about how they should be moving, how they should be marketing themselves, what niche they should be like targeting, who their audience should be, and like they're picking my brain. And
So you're more than just an engineer for them.
straight up. They're picking my brain, and they're like, Marv, you're so, this is all I get. Marv, you're so smart. Marv, you're so right. Marv, wow, like that, like I never thought of that. And I'm like, I'm much more than just pushing the buttons. I'm much more than just engineering. Like, you ask me for my opinion because my mind means something. Rick Rubin says, I get paid for my taste.
Yeah.
I get paid for my taste in music
Fact.
and what I think is right, what I think you should do to take this to the next level. Now, if you don't want to pay to listen to me, it's cool. But there's going to be people that'll pay to listen. That's why you have the conversation where it's like, would you take $500,000 to go have a dinner with Jay-Z? Me, I'll probably take the $500,000, honestly, and then just go flip that and then meet Jay-Z.
I'm going to
at
meet
the top.
Jay-Z down the line.
I'ma
Don't
meet
worry
Jay-Z.
about it. Yeah.
I manifest
Give me
everything that I say.
$500,000.
Exactly. I manifest everything I say. So if I say I'm going to do that, I'm going to do it. One way or another, I figure it out. But in real life, you play chess, and everything's a chess game to me. Like,
Yeah.
everything's a chess game. And I'm not going to work for another studio when I can own my own studio. I'm
For
just
sure.
going to bypass that. You know what I mean? Make this move instead. And that's what I did. I ended up getting my own space and, you know, run my own ship. And now what I'm starting to do is I'm starting to develop talent and help talent. There's times where there's some artists that, you know, can't afford studio time or can't afford my mixing rates or something like that, but they're willing to give up percentages of their music. I'm like starting to accumulate equity in certain things. Like, let me get a percentage of your song. That's equity in a record. Let me get some publishing. Like, I'm an engineer. I'm not even supposed to get any of this shit.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to. I have it, like, the way I look at it is like, you're not even supposed to get any of this until like you're fucking into the game. Like,
Exactly.
until you're really into the game. And people are willing to negotiate that with me this early on. I'm already developing a standard for myself that, like, when I get to the next level, when I'm at the level that David Kim is at, where he's like a legend already. He's a legend.
Oh, for sure, bro.
So whenever I could get to say that I'm at that level, like, my standard is like a whole nother standard.
Yeah.
You know,
You got to cut me in now.
You gotta
You
come.
changing the game for the engineers.
Exactly.
Hey, you got to cut me in, bro.
You get what I'm saying? Like, and I'm educating them. I'm telling, like, I went to the NAM show and a bunch of engineers came up to me and like 2 years in a row they came up to me, and the first year it was like, dude, your marketing is crazy. Like the way you make engineers, like the way you make yourself look in the sessions and your content, like, wow, like you make it seem like we're the stars.
Yeah.
Like we're the fucking rappers in this music video. And like nobody does it like that. Like who does that? Like you're creating a whole new wave. You got drip on, you got like some Louis shoes on, you got some jewelry, you got some drip. Like what engineer is doing shit like that? And
Yeah.
not in the sense of having drip, but just creating a persona, creating
Yeah.
a presence, creating a brand. And for me, I'm big on business. I'm big on establishing your own identity. I tell every artist I work with, don't be caught up in the mix. Establish yourself. Make your own identity. So I just took my own advice and just created my own identity. You know what I mean? And like, it's dope to be able to give that game back to the engineers and be like, look, like if I did all the free shit, I did all the free shit. I did all the free work. I did this. I did that. I didn't get paid when I was interning for like 8 months or like whatever. Like that's the name of the game. You have to be committed to this. That's why I saved up my bag. I didn't have to worry about that. You know, I didn't have to stress David taking me on as a liability. Instead, he's just an asset. I don't have to worry about paying for certain things because he's got it. Like being calculated like that can help you in a lot of different ways, but giving people the game to do that, giving them that, like hearing this and rewinding it and being like, I'm going to apply this. I'm going to do this actually. Like that could help a whole nother generation of engineers, of entrepreneurs evolve. Cause that's what we are as engineers. We're freelancing. We're 1099. Like we're, you know, so we're our own business and we have to, if we don't work, we don't eat. And for anybody that's doing this, that's like, this is all we got. Like, this is all we got. You know what I'm saying? So to better our business and to better our lifestyles or to better our, you know, even the craft of it, it's like giving people this game and like telling and like setting a certain standard. Like me, I'm getting percentages or I'm doing this or I'm negotiating this when other engineers are like, you could do that?
Yeah, they don't even know
I
that.
thought you needed to be multi-platinum to leverage that out. Bro, what? It's business. Like you just got to have a good business mindset to know what your value is, to know what you are worth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So, and how to approach it.
And how to approach it in the best way you can. You know, I've been lucky enough and fortunate enough that I have certain accolades under my resume that allow me to provide value in a different way. People already look at me and they say, damn, you've accomplished all of this, so I'm going to listen to you.
Yeah.
I'm going to take your opinion into consideration. And so, you know, developing that, I think for anybody is first and foremost the thing that'll set you apart, you know what I mean? And be able for you to have a
you
voice.
a 3 times platinum engineer. They should listen to you, bro.
Man.
They should listen to you.
You know, but it's just, I you know, it's all education. David educated me on how to move in this world. I'm a business person, so I went a different road. He, you know, his studio is at Chalice.
Yeah.
My studio is independent. It got no name to it. You know, there's other studios that try to recruit me that have their own name. Like, I'm doing my own thing. So it's like I set my own path. I did my own thing. And, yeah, bro, it just, you know, the world goes round and shit.